You're welcome to DPA today. As you must have heard, the Due Process Advocates Foundation is an organization that tries to bridge the gap between providers of legal services and the consumers of legal services. The world we live in today has changed dramatically from what it was 30 years ago when I became a lawyer. It's difficult for someone who did not witness that era and who only knows the current times to understand what a difference there has been in the legal services, in the justice sector, worldwide, but particularly Nigeria. There have been so many changes. Technology has been responsible for most of these changes. And the changes caused by technology did not affect just the legal profession. It did not just affect the business or the sector charged with administration of justice. It affected all sectors. But interestingly, the legal sector, the justice sector, has been very slow, much slower in adapting to the changes brought about by technology. DPA is doing so. We are looking at the whole spectrum of the justice sector, the processes through which people ventilate their differences, processes through which people handle their controversies, and DPA comes in to bridge the gap, to fill the void where there are voids. So today, DPA is looking at such things as how to expand access to justice to reach more people in the society who otherwise could not afford it. Because it doesn't matter what we think, it doesn't matter the theories out there. Justice is not available to all. Justice is expensive. Human nature is such that human beings are constantly in conflict. We expect to have a means of redressing grievances. We expect to have a system that is based on law so that might will not become right. And that's why DPA is here. Looking at the challenges of Nigeria today, as a developing country that is going through crisis, the need for justice becomes more acute. Many people are suffering. The traditional institutions that were to help you resolve these conflicts and controversies are becoming increasingly weak and corrupt and difficult and inaccessible. I don't mean to single out any particular institution in the administration of justice system in Nigeria, but we cannot keep our eyes shut to some glaring problems we've had recently. For the first time in history, we are hearing about the Supreme Court justices being investigated by the National Assembly on the basis of corruption. We used to think that corruption could be occurring everywhere else, and we expected that this Supreme Court, particularly, will be protected, will be immune to all that corrupt experience of Nigeria. We've looked at the Supreme Court as that final institution that will hold the balance, that will pull this country back from the precipice. It is shocking to hear today about corruption in the Supreme Court. It is shocking to hear of cases where Supreme Court justices have to write a petition against the Chief Justice of the country. It's difficult to hear of cases or a situation where the Chief Justice could just resign abruptly in the midst of a scandal, accusations and counter-accusations and allegations of corruption. And this is happening 2 years after the former Chief Justice of Nigeria was removed from office in the most shocking and unprecedented manner possible. So the more you look at these institutions that were venerated and which we considered impermeable, the more you look at them now being exposed to the same routine scandals that have destroyed other institutions in Nigeria, you get worried. About 2 months before her retirement, the Supreme Court Justice, Mary Odele, had an unprecedented experience. Her house was going to be searched by a bunch of police officers acting on a search warrant issued by a magistrate. And it was a hoax. If that could happen to a Supreme Court justice, you should know it could happen to anybody. Many people would get arrested and they think it's an extraordinary thing. They were arrested unjustly without legitimate legal authority. And they would think that the law and the courts should offer them protection. But the story of Justice Odele is shocking. If it could happen to her, who are you? That it could not happen to you. If the Chief Justice himself could be removed from office in the manner the previous Chief Justice was removed, who are you to say it could not happen to you? And now look at this year or last year. Yes, I believe last year. The entire bar, that is the lawyers in this country, went on strike. And the courts, though open, were not accessible to litigants. The judges were not sitting. It was something that caught across the entire nation. For 2 months, this country was on a lockdown legally, meaning that no dispute could be adjudicated in any court. For you to understand the impact of this, I will take you back to our early studies of government. You remember that there are 3 arms of government, and the judiciary is one of the 3 arms. So for the entire judiciary to be shut down for 2 months, it meant that the government was paralyzed at least 1/3 of the way. And when the courts shut down, what did you expect happened? It meant that the policemen and everybody else that had power became the court. Society will substitute for every essential institution that goes asleep. So when the court shut down, the society did not shut down. Human beings began to do extraordinary things. They began to do without court. And when you do without court, that means you're also dealing without law. And when you deal without law, that means that the society is plunged back to the life of the wild animals, life of the beasts, things we watch in the Jew world. That was what happened to us. As we speak today, there is a major scandal going on in the Nigerian bar, whereby the man at the helm of the legal profession in the country was implicated, his firm was implicated in the most scandalous, unprofessional event you can imagine. Somebody was basically bragging that he had the capacity to influence judges. Of course, we have always feared and suspected that judges are influenced, but we thought these are isolated incidents that are occurring in remote areas, remote corners of the judicial field. We didn't realize it would become the mainstay, to a point where it could be so glaringly displayed by the most senior lawyers in the country. Things are going badly. As I said, the society does not stand still when things go bad. Society, like water, will move in whatever direction it experiences least resistance. So when these things happen in the legal profession, when it happens in the formal institutions of administration of justice, society adapts. DPA is responding to numerous challenges in the legal profession. It is responding to a wide range of challenges, because it's not just legal profession. You have the courts, you have the judges, you have the policing system, you have the correctional centers. All these things come together to constitute what we call the justice sector. All of them are embroiled. All of them are facing challenges of tremendous magnitude. DPA is adapting. DPA is just basically doing simple things, reaching out to the ordinary people, helping them. So if you are living in this country today and you're not a member of DPA, you need to ask how you could join DPA. You need to join the organization so you can be best protected. Nobody would like to stand unprotected, and nobody's above injustice. You too could be a victim. But if you're in DPA, you will help yourself. Thank you very much.